Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luca Senatore. I head up the team at Genie Goals. Um, this is great to be here talking to you. I've got a full house. I'm privileged. I feel very challenged. My shorter talk is normally 8 hours. I've got 20 minutes. So I'm going to try and give you as much value as I possibly can. A couple of things about us. I like to make this about you a lot, so I'll keep it brief. There's 56 of us in the office. Internationalization is massive for us, so we have 11 in-house languages. And I don't mean people that can speak a language, I mean people that come from that country, because you can't really work in a market if you don't understand it. It isn't about speaking, otherwise everybody will be selling in America and we're not. And we very much working with Google to try and achieve what we call the cutting edge of marketing. We are rated top 3% in EMEA with Google, and we won a few awards with them. We work very closely to try and shape what digital marketing for retail looks like going forward. By the way, I head up an agency 110% focused on retail. If you're not a retailer, perhaps you can come and talk to us. We wouldn't be able to help you, but we can certainly advise you. This presentation, though, should really be applicable to most online businesses, so bear with us. We focus on these channels. PPC and Google Shopping is where we actually pioneered our experience. And paid social, more specifically Facebook and Instagram, that's where we really focus. Affiliate marketing is very important for us because it paints the picture of the customer lifecycle all the way through email. And email, I don't mean selling email addresses, is managing the list and coming up with creatives and coding and strategy and so on. This is basically where we focus, and this is some of the clients we do it with. So 100% retail. And that's for us been very, very important because we understand the language that retailers speak. We understand the challenges that are slightly outside the digital marketing aspect of things like delivery and payment methods and so on. We get that. So we focus in retail for that reason. But actually, a lot of the stuff that we'll touch on branch out of retail. The technology that we built is built for retail, but the principles don't have to be. The main message that I like to fight in these 20 minutes that I have is this. We have really become goldfish in a way. What that means is that in year 2000, our attention span was about 12 seconds, right? Honestly, statistics are a great thing, but also statistics are mostly made up. 77% of statistics are made up. So it is true that a few years ago, we would look at something with a lot of intent and a lot of attention, right? A few years ago, we also discovered the attention span of goldfish is about 9 seconds. So we were winning the battle, get in. Screw that goldfish. Unfortunately, in 2013, our attention span was about 8 seconds. And this is where we're at today. That doesn't make us silly, it doesn't make us stupid, it just means that we're very busy looking at many things because we've got so many information coming from everywhere. It used to be a thing that you call people with. Then it used to be a thing that you call and you text people with. Now it's everything but those things. I think I use this 95% for non-calls operations, right? So distraction, look at this place now. I'm hearing that guy talking, that it's a bit the same on the digital marketing landscape. So it's no wonder this has happened, but we need to fight that. A few years ago, this is how you chill. You sit on the sofa and you watch a movie, and you're 3 meters away, you got nothing else but a cup of tea or a beer, a glass of wine if you're like me, right? And reach was very scarce because you either could afford to do TV or you couldn't. You either could afford a full page on a national magazine or you couldn't, right? But attention was very, very strong, because people wouldn't be able to fast forward the ads. Now they can. So it was a very different environment. Today, this is how we consume media. And this is actually not even correct. We probably have a mobile phone and a tablet in our hands at the same time, right? a very different environment. We need to go to the toilet, we take the computer with because we hooked on Game of Thrones. We couldn't get a TV with us before. So reach is plentiful because we can, through Facebook, we can target many people through AdWords, through shopping, but attention is very scarce. People are looking everywhere else. So there's another challenge that if you have teenage kids or if you know teenage kids and you want to communicate with them, you might be better off Snapchatting them than talking to them face to face. They'll probably tell you stuff on Snapchat they won't tell you face to face, right? And then we have this, which is called, I call our generation of people. And we use different things on mobiles. We use email, we use Facebook, we use WhatsApp and so on. But what's interesting is that now we have these guys on it too. Yeah? My mom couldn't send me a text message, now she sent me an emoji. She goes, what's going on? It's crazy. Everybody is on it now. There's nobody who doesn't have this, really, and doesn't use it as a computer in their pocket. So the marketplace is a bit of a weird place now because putting more money onto ad campaigns, onto marketing, is a bit like adding an extra light. That is not going to make much of an impact. It's not going to have much of a difference. You have people using different devices in different situations in their life for stuff that they actually use. So you have a situation that doesn't look quite too promising, I'm afraid, guys, because you have a very cluttered marketplace where everybody is after the same customer. Then you have short attention span, lower than a goldfish. People want results quickly, and they want them relevant. How does Google make money? Google make money through advertisers, right? And Google will only make money through advertisers if advertisers offer users a good service, a good experience. So there's only going to be more and more and more. Cross-device. I may start the research on the train when I commute to London here. I might complete the purchase here at home. So there's a lot that goes on in the life cycle of a consumer. And finally, people have choices. You ought to buy shoes 10 years ago. On TV, you were served Nike or Adidas. And you will buy one or the other, not based on what's best, because you don't know what's best. You buy based on how the brand resonates to you. How do they engage with you and who you are. Today, everybody can achieve the same coverage. So there's a lot of choice for consumers, and we need to kind of adapt for this. So you may feel a bit like this if you look at the market, but actually there are opportunities that can allow you to feel a bit like this. And my job here today in 20 minutes, is a big challenge, is to try and give you something that gets you to do more of this and less of this. Yeah? So the first thing that we need to look at on practical terms, this is a bit of an infographic that I put together to show what can be done and what needs to be done. So at the top, you have possibly one of the most boring, tedious, hard, technical, and practical things that you have to do. And this is probably more specific to AdWords, Google Shopping, and paid social. The first one is account structures. Now, if the accounts aren't structured in the right way, everything else below doesn't happen, cannot happen. And I'll explain why in a moment. So the accounts need to be structured properly, and it's worth investing much time into that at the beginning, because then you can scale. If you don't do that, it's a bit like building a house. Most of the money goes underneath. I did an extension 2 years ago, and it cost me 30 grand, whatever it was, and 80% through the timeline, the builder said, with 80% there, I thought, there's nothing off the ground. I spent 80% of my money, I can see nothing. 80% of my money is in the foundations, and it's the same there. Once you have that, you can look at strategic input and technology on two branches. Now, technology, because if you rely on manual intervention all the time, you will never achieve anything. You need to automate certain things, which I'll show you in a moment. And the other is need to be strategic, because if you're not strategic, you're not different. And if you're not different, it's just more noise. There's a guy there who's got a very interesting voice and incredible look, right? But he sounds just like anybody else here, because there's too much clutter. So we need to be different. And then we move down the path. I can send you this, but I've got a better promise for you, actually. So Here's a better promise. I can't give you all this value in 20 minutes, but I want to show you what's available, what's possible. So come to our stand, which is H5, I think, Genie Goals, H5, yeah? We'll give you a free audit of your Facebook account, Instagram account, or Facebook account or shopping account, totally free, promise, or a 30-minute free consultation, or we'll do an health check of the account structure for you for free, because I can't do this now. There's just no time. So come to the stand today or tomorrow, and we'll do that for you, I promise. So I can move on now. One of the practical tips is stand out. You can do that very easily and almost for free. Yeah, this is a search I've done last night. Buy men's skinny jeans. It returned many thousands of searches per month. And this is what I was presented with. Yeah? So I purposely left out the extensions underneath, but this is men's jeans, Gant, spring, new arrivals, Gant, blah, blah, blah. So there's nothing wrong with any of this, right? There's nothing wrong. But imagine a page full of this. So maybe we should try something a bit different. Yeah? Just different. You know, and see what happens. I'm not saying this will win, by the way, not at all. But just, if you don't try something different, you'll never know. Yeah? The problem isn't trying something different that doesn't work. The problem is not trying something different and you'll never know. That's the problem. We have a very large customer who's an online printer, part of Vistaprint, and they had a TV campaign. And they were told, it was funny, you should have seen it. You had this lady saying, oh, my first time was insane. And then the other man saying, my first time was intense. And you would think, what? And then at the end, they're talking about using the website, you know, to print, right? Pretty clever. So maybe instead of having a boring ad like that, we could try something else. Yeah? And just see what happens. Just see what happens. The second branch that I'd like to touch on is technology, because unfortunately, without technology, you will always be limited if you run an operation of a certain size. If you run a very small boutique niche brand, maybe not, but you know, most likely you need some sort of technology to automate at the very least, but also to analyze data at the large scale. So this is Monday to Sunday, 24 hours of the day. And the red is where conversion rate is poor. The green is where it's better, right? Makes sense to everybody. 95% of accounts that we audit will bid the same across the day, the days of the week and the hours of the day. Why? If people are converting different, why are you paying the same money? Does that make sense? It's a bit like, imagine this, you have a store Monday to Friday in central London. You know that Monday you do no business and you have the choice to pull out on Monday. Will you pull out and go back? It's the same thing. And you cannot do this manually. It's just impossible. You will never be. We have some of the accounts that we have, the bids update every 4 hours across hundreds of thousands of keywords. Imagine doing it manually. You can't do it. And even if you could, that's time really unwisely spent. You're better off spending time in strategic input. Now, this is true. You may find that you test a lot of stuff, and 80% of the time, you're left with nothing. No change. Nothing happens. You've done all that work for nothing, right? You want to feel like that. Now, the truth is that the majority of the times, you will not feel like this. The majority of the tests will not return a massive wow moment. Yeah, but that's not what this is about. This is about testing so that you can find these type of moments. So this is a massive retail brand that we work with, and we invested 9 months building a bespoke product level bidding technology that was able to bid at the product level on Google Shopping. You couldn't do that because Google works on partitions, but you essentially end up with these two things in the same group, bidding the same, where clearly they have different values and different conversion rates. So we invested up to 9 months to do it, and it could have gone wrong. It could have been one of those boring moments. We launched it here, and we pretty much doubled the sales and the transactions almost within a quarter. And this is when we launched the FeedDriven Search, which is we've taken the feed and created an automation process whereby campaigns were created automated on long tails based on the product feed. And again, the sales went from there to there in a period of a few weeks. So sometimes it's certainly worth doing stuff that makes you feel like that. When we audit accounts, we look at 100%. So if we feel that with a new customer, we cannot drive 100% increase in revenue or 100% decrease in CPA, then we tend to tell the client we're not the right people. We like to do the big jumps. And it seems like a big goal, but actually, if you audit 10 accounts, and I'm talking about known brands, you'll realize that at least 7 of them have this potential, one way or the other. It's because they haven't really capitalized on automation or on strategy, and they're investing time in things that don't return. This is a stat from Google. So we have about 57% less footfall in stores. So there's more than half the people going online instead of the store. But you have 3 times the average order value in stores. What does that tell us? And people do more research. People do research online, they go into store, they know what they want, and then they spend more because they're not relying on impulse buy. If you look at the last click model, if you look at the sales that your AdWords campaign has driven, just the sales, you're missing 70% of the pathway. Can I have a volunteer? I'm not going to make you look like a chicken or anything like that. Just by a raise of hand, somebody. There's many people here. Just give me one hand. There you go. Madam, could you please come to me? Thank you very much. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a present on me. Thank you very much. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Yeah? Attribution model based on last click. You are telling me that the last step was the only step that got the lady a brand new notebook. But it was all the steps. Because without each of the steps, she would not get a homework, right? And it's the same here. If we don't look at what customers do during the research phase, during the remarketing phase, and during all the other phases before the purchase, we are just looking at the last step. This is a little tip. All the research gets done here. Some of the buying gets done here, some of the buying gets done here. The reason is twofold. Some people prefer to buy here, and some retailers are just not really mobile friendly. So type this into Google, testmysite.thinkgoogle.com, and that will do an analysis of your website to tell you how mobile friendly it is. That's a good start, right? Because there's no point in spending money to drive people here, and then they can't really purchase because your checkout on the mobile is not very good. That's 1.23 million views. Yeah, 1.2. Yeah. It's a 3-hour video. Do you know what happens to butter when you leave it out? Nothing. Nothing. 3 hours of nothing. 1.2 million views. And if you dig, if you dig, you'll see that 25% of these people went back to watch it again. That's creative, though. That's 1.2 million views. That's creative, you know. It might have not worked. For every one of these cool things, there are 100 that don't work. But if you don't try, we'll never know. Different isn't better. Different can be better. Different can be really bad, but it can really be better. We have seen it with the product level bidding. That was different. So many people in the industry would have told us, are you crazy? You invest in 6 months of tech people. Anybody in tech? Yeah, because it's too expensive. You know, these people are paid loads of money. And it was risky, but the rewards were crazy, right? So sometimes we have to do that kind of stuff. We have to invest and and take the risk. So here's my next steps for you guys. Step number 1, go to H5, yeah, which is us. Step 2, get a 30-minute free consultation or a free audit, which is step 3. Step 4, see what happens. Nothing may happen. You end up like, who was that guy? Timberlake, yeah? Yeah, nothing may happen. Oh, something special may happen. You don't know. But we offer you a free consultation, free audit. Come and take advantage of it. We got a table football, play table football with us, get some free water, and that's it. Thank you.